All right, here we go. Okay, we talked about the development of European alliances that really did not help us try to prevent a world war. And we talked about in June of 1914, the major powers in Europe, the 5 major powers in Europe, arranged themselves in competing alliances. The Triple Alliance was a group that consisted of Germany and Austria-Hungary, and the Triple Entente consisted of France, Great Britain, and Russia. And we explained that the dangers of these alliances is really, if one country gets in a conflict with another country, it just ties in a lot of countries. We talked about if these 3 rows were the Triple Alliance and these three rows were the Triple Entente, if Hannah has a conflict with Kyle, then Carly's automatically got a conflict with Kyle, and so does Buck. And so these things really contributed to us going to a world war. Now, we talked about yesterday, and I want to make sure we understand it, that World War I actually began as a result of one specific incident, okay? And it's going to turn into a world war over it. And what happened on June 28, 1914, in Sarajevo, which was a capital city of Bosnia, which was a province of Austria-Hungary, on that date, the Archduke of Bosnia, Franz Ferdinand, and his wife were riding through the streets of Sarajevo in an open automobile. And a 19-year-old man by the name of Gavrilo Princip rushed towards their car and fired a revolver, killing both the Archduke and his wife. Now, as we tried to explain yesterday, Princip was from the country of Serbia, which was under Austrian rule. And the controversy prior to this assassination is many of the people that lived in Serbia, including Princip, believed that their country should be free of Austrian rule. And the assassination's going to lead to alliances getting involved and ultimatums being given that's going to be a problem. Now, what's an ultimatum, Gracie? What's an ultimatum? If I give you an ultimatum, what have I said?
Like, you can either choose this or this last.
That's right. Yeah, it's very good. It's not you can either choose this or this, which you said exactly right. You choose this or this is going to happen to you, which normally is bad. Give the example of an ultimatum that you heard last year. Do you remember when the government told the Native Americans that they gave them the ultimatum, you either go to the reservation or we will deem you hostile? That's an ultimatum. And those that didn't go were deemed hostile and they were put on the reservations by force. That's an ultimatum. You don't have any choice. Well, the first ultimatum in this situation came from the Austrian government. Okay? The first ultimatum over this incident of the assassination came from the Austrian government. Now, what the Austrian government did is they gave somebody an ultimatum. Who do you think they gave the ultimatum to? Serbia. Because this guy that shot the Archduke was from Serbia. And they told the country of Serbia that you're going to give up all your individual freedoms. Well, how'd that go? Not well. So the first ultimatum came up from the Austrian government after this assassination, when the Austrian government basically asked the Serbs to give up all individual freedoms. Now, you think about that. Is that a reasonable ultimatum? No. So if I give you an ultimatum that's not reasonable, what am I trying to bait you into? A conflict. Not so much, we won't get to worry. Good. But we're going to, you know, they knew that they weren't going to live up to this ultimatum. Because you know what Austria-Hungary really wanted to do to show their power? What did they really want to do in the end? They wanted to declare war on who? Serbia. That's what they wanted. So if you want to get yourself in a conflict, just give an ultimatum that you can't, that you know that the person's not going to take. So that was the whole goal. The Austrian government, because of this assassination, and I think the Austrian government probably felt they didn't have enough control over those Serbs, and the Serbs thought they had too much control over them. Well, by God, the Austrian government was going to stick it on the Serbs. Okay? We want to go to war. We want to beat the hell out of you. We want to make sure you understand who's the boss here. Okay? That's fine and damn. Okay? So the ultimatum from the Austrian government They tell the Serbs basically you're not going to have any individual freedoms, knowing that they will not live up to that ultimatum, knowing that they're going to end up in a conflict. The problem is this. The Austrian government was backed heavily by the German Kaiser Wilhelm II. So who's allying with Hungary? Germany, or Austria, excuse me, Germany is. So this is going to cause us some issues. So the Austrian government was backed heavily by Germany and their leader, Kaiser Wilhelm II. Okay? So, does Austria know that Germany is going to come to their defense when they go to war with somebody? Sure they do, because they're part of what? Which one? Triple Entente. Okay? So, obviously what happened, Serbia refused this ultimatum, so Austria-Hungary declared war on who? Serbia. Okay? So when this ultimatum was not agreed upon by the Serbs, Austria-Hungary then declared war on Serbia. Now this is where it gets a little crazy. We've got the Triple Alliance. Who's in the Triple Alliance?
Germany, Austria, Hungary.
Okay, who's in the Triple Entente? Russia. Okay, now here's where this thing goes crazy. I'll give you the first example. Russia's a member of the Triple Entente, right? Well, they are allies with Serbia. So what do? They back Serbia and declare war on Germany because they know Germany is backing who? Austria-Hungary. So there's your first domino effect. So Russia, who's a member of the Triple Entente, backs Serbia and declares war on Germany. So now you've got Austria-Hungary declaring war on Serbia, right? And then you've got Russia declaring war on Germany. This is what we got so far. Well, France, who's an ally of Russia, what do? They declare war on Germany also. So France, who's also a member of the Triple Entente, declares war on Germany. Well, since Russia and France declare war on Germany, what does Germany have to do? Declare war on both those countries. So now we've got, basically, if you look at it, you've got Austria, Hungary, and Germany on one side, right? And who on the other? Serbia, Russia, and France. Well, from this point on, when Austria, Hungary, and Germany end up in war, they're going to refer to themselves not anymore as the Triple Alliance. They're going to refer to themselves as the Central Powers. Okay? So now Austria, Hungary, and Germany, once they're in conflict, will be referred to as the Central Powers. Now, who do you think's tougher? Austria, Hungary, and Germany, or France and Russia and Serbia at this time? Who do you think's tougher? Actually the opposite. Germany's very well established. They're actually the toughest, and Austria, Hungary's kind of on the coattails. But the Central Powers, Austria, Hungary, and Germany, they expect a quick victory here. They're just going to go into France and kick butt, and then they're going to swing east and they're going to defeat Russia, and this thing's going to be done in a hurry. That was the anticipation. Germany was the power at the time in this area. So the Central Powers, Austria, Hungary, and Germany, just expected a quick total victory. They were going to march west to France, then they were going to whip France, and they were going to turn east and go to Russia, and that was just going to be the end of it like that. That was the plan. Well, here's where it got even crazier. If you know your history, and I don't have a world map up here, but what would be the shortest route for France, or excuse me, for Germany to get to France? If Germany's going to go to France, what are they going to go through? Which country to get there? Shortest route. Belgium. Okay, Belgium. Well, Belgium isn't involved in any of these alliances. They're a neutral country. So the shortest route for Germany to go over and punch France in the mouth and then beat them up and move to Russia and knock them around is to go through Belgium. Well, what did Germany want to do? They were good about it at first. They wanted to march their troops from Germany through Belgium to France. Well, the King of Belgium, King Albert I, or King Albert, let's leave it at that, refused Germany permission to march through his country to assault another country, especially when they're a neutral country. So King Albert tells German Kaiser Wilhelm, no, you're not going to come through my country to assault another country. We're a neutral country here. What do you think what do you think King Albert's concern was other than that? Why didn't he want the troops coming through his country?
They were not stopped.
Say it. What? Yeah, he was concerned with the damage. That's what, he said, well, first of all, I don't want you coming through because we're a neutral country, and I'm supporting that. Second of all, I'm concerned about the damage. Well, the damage becomes, how does Germany handle that issue? What's that? You get your phone there, girl? Please, okay, don't mess with your phone. Shoot. Okay, I'm just not even phoning up a little bit on it. Okay, so what does King Albert say to that? We'll pay for any damages. What does he say to that? Germany says, okay, hey, it's okay. We wrecked your country, we'll pay for it. What does he say? He says, Belgium is a country, not a road. Belgium is a country, not a road. So he's refusing. And is he refusing? Do you think it mattered what they paid him? Do you really think it mattered what they paid him? No, he didn't want to get in the middle of that, did he? He's the smartest one in the bunch. So, of course, Germany says, well, okay, King Albert, thanks for considering it. No. On August 3rd, 1914, despite King Albert's objection, German forces don't come through Belgium, they invade Belgium. You're not going to let us come through, even for payment? We'll just invade you. Now, you're looking at these countries. We talked about the Triple Entente, the Triple Alliance, and what in your mind, or what do you think in your mind? Where's Great Britain in this thing? Right? Well, here they are. The next day, on August 4th, 1914, because Great Britain was committed to defend Belgium, they declared war on Germany. So that's how Great Britain gets in this thing. Because of the force used on the country of Belgium, Great Britain, who was committed to defend Belgium, declared war on Germany. Yeah.
So Germany must have had some motivations, like want some more land or something besides backing Austria, because they probably wouldn't be.
Sure they do. That's what world wars are all about. That's a great point. Sure they do. Yeah. The spoils of war are the greatest thing ever. You know what I mean? Now, so what do we have now? We've got the Central Powers against these other countries that have declared war on Germany. Well, within a few weeks, the country of Turkey joined the Central Powers. So now you have Turkey, you have Austria-Hungary, and you have Germany. But who's the big cat in the fight? Germany, no doubt. Okay. On the other hand, Japan united with Great Britain, France, and Russia. Japan united with Great Britain, France, and Russia. Why would they? You're all looking like, why would they do that? Why would they do that? Yeah. You know, they're not stupid, and they want to get on the right side of things. Okay? You want to get on the right side of things. Okay? Now, when Japan joined Great Britain, France, and Russia, that group became known as the Allies. So in World War II, you're going to have the Central Powers versus the Allies. Central Powers versus the Allies. So does everybody understand where we're at here? We're in a hell of a mess. Which takes us to a great subtopic, which is our next one, which is American neutrality. Okay, we don't want to get in this mess. American neutrality. American neutrality. We'd like to stay out of this, if we could. Now, let me ask you a question, though. Let me ask you a question. Bailey, you're Woodrow Wilson, you're the President of the United States, you're watching this, and you have an opinion, right? So who do you think, in his mind, Wilson favored, the Allies or the Central Powers? Allies. And the reason he did is he kind of saw Germany as a lawless nation, a nation bully nation. And he could read them, they're over there trying to get land or whatever. So Wilson, no doubt, as president, favored the Allies. But he believed in his heart that the Allies could win without their support. He did not want to get involved. He thought that Great Britain and France and Russia, Japan, Serbia's just got to take a back seat to this. But the point being is he thought they could win without him. So he adopted a policy of, quote, formal neutrality. Okay, he adopted a policy in the United States of formal neutrality. That means we're formally stating as a country that we are going to remain neutral in this conflict in Europe.
What was our relationship with Great Britain?
See, that's coming. That's a good point. That's a good point. Now, what are we a nation of? What? What'd you say? What is the United States a nation of? How did we all get here? Immigrants. So, think about it. We've got people of Russian descent in the United States. We've got people of German descent in the United States. We've got people from Austrian descent, Serbia. I mean, we're a mixture. So do you think the emotions might be running? Do you think Americans are taking sides in this thing? And they are. And that's one problem Wilson had. We're a nation of immigrants, and a lot of our citizens had strong emotional ties to the countries that their ancestors came from. So it was going to be kind of difficult to stay neutral. Okay? Now, as Mason was alluding to, some of these foreign countries were wondering where our loyalties were also. If you were England, would you kind of expect us to maybe jump in this? You probably wouldn't if you were Germany. But but the Allies are thinking, hey, this will be awesome. We'll get the United States in here and we'll really kick some butt. Well, that really wasn't what Wilson wanted to do. Now, despite all this, I'm going to give you 5 examples of how Americans took sides in the European conflict one way or the other. How Americans took sides because of their heritage. Okay? American citizens took sides. And Wilson's got to deal with this, which is not going to be easy. Pretty simple, you'll get it pretty quick. The Americans whose ancestors came from Great Britain supported who? Allies. Okay, there's one example. So, do we have quite a few people that ancestors came from Great Britain in this country? Sure we do. So, all those people certainly were in support of the Allies. How about those Americans whose ancestors came from Germany? Who would they support? Central Powers. How about anyone who had ancestors from either Austria or Hungary? Central Powers. Now these last two might surprise you, especially the last one. Irish Americans. Who would they favor? Why? Be careful! Okay, he's going the right way, but he's wrong. Okay, but he's going the right way.
The Irish didn't want to be a part of Great Britain.
That's exactly right. Even though both did it great. Even though Irish Americans came from Ireland, which is next to Great Britain, that's been a conflict forever at this time. So actually, Irish Americans favored the Central Powers. Now here's one that'll blow you away. Remember, this is before World War II. American Jews sympathized with Germany and supported the Central Powers. Little did they know what was in store for them, unfortunately. But at the start of World War I, American Jews sympathized with Germany. Why wouldn't they? Where were a lot of them from? Germany. Were they persecuting the Jews at this time? No. Why wouldn't they? But I'll tell you, ironically, it's a sad story how that came about. We'll talk about that later. Okay, so we're talking about American neutrality. We're going to try to stay neutral here. That's the goal, although Wilson's going to have a hard time. Sooner or later, he's going to have to pick a side. Now, would he have to pick a side if the Allies could win without him? No, he's going to find out that the Allies cannot win without him. But also something's going to happen, kind of a mini Pearl Harbor, but not a Pearl Harbor. And that takes us to our next subtopic, which is the controversy surrounding submarine warfare in World War I. The controversy surrounding submarine warfare in World War I. When they start shooting ships out with innocent passengers, it becomes a problem. Yep. Little did I know.
How about you teach us, huh?
Yeah, little did I know that these two boys had it going. All right, here we go. Didn't start there. Well, Germany will become the first country in our world's history to use the submarine, which was better known as a U-boat. They didn't call them submarines, they had a nickname called the U-boat. So, Germany will become the first country to use the submarine, better known at the time as the U-boat. Now, you probably don't know this, but it'll make sense.